Welcome to Astro Chat and Chill. It is Friday, February 10th, and we are here to talk about astrology. The astrology of the moment. How is everything going? How are you being affected by this? How can you improve your life with this information? So let me go and turn off my notifications for everything. That was definitely my Discord, like, boop, and it was just it being told that we are live here today. So if you're in my Discord and you're about to join live, hello, welcome. And if you're not in my Discord, what the heck are you doing with your life? you can find the link on my profile on Twitch and like pretty much everywhere. So let's talk about the astrology of the day. And actually, I whipped out, I just wrote my weekly post that I send to my email list last night. So everything for the next week is super fresh in my mind. And I feel like I can't talk about what's going on today without sort of talking about what's going on for the rest of the, and I say the rest of the week, and I know that sounds really weird because I go from like the Friday to like the next Friday. And it's just because that's the way that I write my emails. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm having a very silly day. I don't know what my deal is. I woke up and I was just like very alert from the moment that my feet touched the ground at 5:30 in the morning, just like boom, jumped out of bed. So maybe it is the Mercury Pluto conjunction going on today at the very end of Capricorn, because Mama Capricorn is obviously feeling the energy. So let's go ahead and pull open the astrology of the moment and let's just dig right into it. So like I said, Mercury conjunct Pluto. So depending on where, oh my gosh, and is this exact for me today? Oh, of course it is. Mars conjunct my ascendant. So like literally an hour ago, Mars just like slid into my first house, right? So yeah, we are here with different energy today. Let me tell you what, and like different energy than I have had for at least the last 6 months. Because once Mars went retrograde in Gemini, it was like, I have not wanted to do anything for a very long time. And I started picking up some more steam once, Mars went direct in mid-January, but it has still been kind of like sticky and uncomfortable. It feels like yoga at 6 a.m., not yoga at, 7 p.m. or 4 p.m. when you're like all alert and your body's been around and moving and up all day. 6 a.m. Yoga, you're so stiff and you're just like, oh my gosh, like what I can do at different times a day, not what I can do at 6 a.m. That's probably why the other day I like had an expletive laced like reaction, like a go me moment when I stuck a pose on Wednesday night, but it was like 7 p.m. class, so I can't judge my like 6 a.m. by my 7 p.m. And just the same way that you can't judge your like Mars in the 12th house versus your Mars in the first house transit, like the energy is just very, very, very different. So looking forward to that for me, for all of us. But okay, so let's get back to the Mercury conjunct Pluto. Okay, so what this says is like revelation, right? Like a come to Jesus moment, like a whoa, like mind blown sort of moment, right? And this might mean that you're going to learn something completely new. This might mean that you're going to learn something that will be like shocking. It might also be that you're going to like learn a new way of seeing something, right? So it may not be that it's like completely new information. It's just that you're learning how to see it from a different lens or a different perspective, right? And that's very much what this Mercury conjunct Pluto situation is. Now, there's so much more that's happening over like the course of the next week. Like we're going to have 3 major conjunctions all happening like one after the next. And thank goodness that we have Mercury moving into Aquarius tomorrow because we need some big picture, out of the box, like innovative thinking to apply to all of these like aha moments that we're about to experience. So with Mercury being conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, what I would encourage you to do is go look at the house where Capricorn is present in your chart. Like, where is this actually happening? If you are in my membership, then you already have access to that, right? My membership, and it doesn't matter what level you're in, it's at co-fi.com/mamacapricorn. And whether you are at the celestial supporter level or whether you're all the way up at the moonlit mentor level, you get your weekly horoscope broken down by your rising sign at the top of every month. So you can ride through the month with a little bit more recognition and understanding of what's about to happen. You know, it's your cosmic weather report. So with this happening in my 8th house, this is very much, I mean, Pluto has been transiting my 8th house for fucking ever. Like, I'm so excited. And it's so, like, I don't plan things. Again, I say this all the time. I do not plan things according to astrology. Well, okay, I plan, like, maybe what content I'm going to put out at a certain time, or, like, what messaging I'm going to lean into, because I know, you know, what's going on. But most of the time when I'm making decisions, especially if I'm making decisions about, like, my own, like, things that are not connected directly to teaching astrology or talking about astrology, it's not necessarily something that I'm always like, it's the top of mind for every single decision that I'm making, right? I don't consult it for when. I allow myself to listen to my intuition, and then I go and I check astrology for like confirmation or for dialing into something a little bit more specifically. It's like if I know, you know, maybe that I want to take a trip in the summer or something like that. You know, maybe I'll go and I'll look and see when might be the most seasonally like appropriate time for me to do that. So with that said, you know, Pluto has been transiting my 8th house for goddamn ever. It has been, you know, because Pluto transits are so long. And so as it moves into, or it's gonna like kiss Aquarius, it's gonna come into Aquarius at 0 degrees, and then it'll go retrograde a couple of months later. And come back into Capricorn. So it won't like fully transition into Aquarius until, oh my gosh, hold on, stop. Everybody stop what you're doing and listen to me. This is what I mean by like, I don't consult astrology. It just like happens. Okay. So I start my yoga teacher training at the beginning of March. Okay. Actually, let me just go ahead and show you this, because this is what I'm talking about. Just like bananas. So let me go ahead. I'm going to open my 2023 Astro planner. So this is like one of the things that you can buy. You can buy this actually in my Ko-Fi shop. So it's, again, like the link is right here, like KOFI/Capricorn. If you go to the shop, you can get just like the full digital planner. But if you want to join my membership, I send you the month, right? The monthly one or whatever, every single month. With the like monthly digest and breaking down the transits and then giving you the horoscope, right? But what I want to show you is that, okay, so Pluto enters Aquarius here March 23rd, right? So I start my yoga teacher training. Where is this? I start my yoga teacher training in 3 weeks. So it is going to be this weekend. That March 4th and 5th weekend is the first one. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So this is, you know, a couple of weeks out from Pluto entering Aquarius. And then I graduate my yoga teacher training. It's an 8-week program, but it's every other weekend. So we finish in June. And what happens in June? We've got Pluto retrograding back into Capricorn. And that is like the exact 3 months that Pluto will be transiting my 9th house for the first time since ever. No, the first time ever. Okay. So you're never going to experience a Pluto return. You're just not going to get that old. Nobody ever does. Although if you do, right, if you're a vampire or something. So this is the first time that it's ever moved into my ninth house, and it will do that just for like briefly for 3 months this year while I'm getting my yoga teacher training. And if you look at the energy of the ninth house, yoga would really fall into the ninth house, especially for someone like me. Maybe yoga wouldn't fall into the ninth house for, I don't know, I guess it still would, but like for like someone who's like born in India, like where this is like a regular like movement, meditative, spiritual practice all the time. I'm from, fucking Florida. So no, it is not. Like a lot of people even still view it as like a workout. And of course, yeah, sure. Like I definitely have like yoga body or whatever, but like that's not really my motivation or like why I do it. It's definitely about like the mental and spiritual health and like spiritual connection and connection to my body and all of the incredible like thoughts and analogies that come out of that space, right? There's so much that I teach through analogy, and yoga is just one of those spaces where it's like everything I feel like relates to the yoga room. And so like during that 3 months, I'm gonna have Pluto transiting the ninth house while I'm in that teacher training. So it's like I didn't plan it like that, but I knew that I needed to do this. I knew that I wanted to do this, and I said yes, and I didn't even think about the astrology of it all. But of course, the astrology makes perfect sense, especially when you lean into your intuition, especially when you just like listen to your fucking self, man. And as a Capricorn, like as a very earth sign grounded person, like I will show you very quickly, like y'all, my chart, I'm not, right? Like I'm very intuitive, okay? We have been making jokes a lot lately, like in my Discord about like that I'm like a fucking psychic, right? But I don't really have that much. Like I got 3 water placements, although the water placements that I have are significant, right? It's my North Node, Pluto, and Chiron. So these are all placements where I'm going to be like focused on healing and focused on transformation and focused on other people. And I guess if you take it into like the housing consideration, right, that like my 8th house is completely stacked. That's a water house. Even though it's Capricorn, it's the 8th house. It's the house of Scorpio. I've got my Jupiter in the 12th house, which is the house of Pisces. And my south node, I guess, would be in the 4th house, which is, the house of Cancer. So I have some watery influence, okay? But not so much. Like, I'm very earthy. I'm very earthy. And so it takes a lot for me it took a long time for me to not like roll my eyes and stick out my tongue in like a disgusted face about like woo stuff and it's so interesting because it's not like I'm not open to it. Like I've always been a spiritual seeker, like in a really weird way. Like I was not raised in a religious household, not raised by spiritual people, like we're talking textbook, like white Republican people, just like very like I'm pretty sure that my stepmom voted for Trump. You know what I mean? Like and whatever, your politics aside, like that's not my politics personally. That doesn't mean I'm a Democrat either, because I'm certainly not. But wow, we're really going off on a tangent there. All I really meant to say by that is that I was not raised by people who are naturally like spiritually inclined or like interested in talking about that, or like it was just not a topic of conversation in my household. But for some reason, as a small child, and I mean like 6, 7, 8, like I was obsessed with the concept of God, obsessed with the concept of religion, obsessed with... Now that I'm really thinking about it, when I was 6, 7, 8, where I'm trying to think of like transits. I'm not gonna. I'll research my own history fucking later. But what 6 and 7 year old like asks their peers like, hey, what religion are you, like, so what do you believe in? And they'd be like, oh, my dad's a Catholic, and my, I think we're Lutheran or something. And I'd be like, okay, but what do you believe? And they're like, I don't know, right? Like, they're 7-year-olds, like, they're not trying to talk about, they're like, do you want to play Power Rangers, I'm like, absolutely not. Do you want to talk about existentialism and like the point of like life? God, I was such a weird kid. Or I don't know. That's who I was. I'm not like, I'm whatever. Anyway. And then I wonder why I developed a complex around like not being able to socialize as a normal person. I just like never have. Like, it's just never been something I've known how to do. And so, I've always been super open to woo concepts, or like, I remember being like 8, 9, 10 and having like books about Wicca. I had Scott Cunningham's Wicca, a guide for the solitary practitioner. I literally think I still have it on my bookshelf right now. I've had that since I was 8. I had like different Bibles. Like, I had kids' Bibles, and I had teen Bibles, and I had adult ones, and I had them in like different translations because I wanted to see like what the Message Bible says versus like the New King James Version versus the New International Version, and just like, why? I don't know. Like, went and got myself baptized when I was 12, But it's like, all of that didn't matter to me. Like, I was more of like an intellectual, like, like more curious about it than necessarily, I guess curious about it is not that, this is going to sound terrible, but like kind of the same way that I'm curious about cults, right? That it's not like I want to rush out and join one, or like I want to like find like a group or something to believe in, or like I don't know what I believe in. I'm just like very curious and interested in how other people think and how other people see things and how other people view our existence and our like, whatever. So with me being like, oh yeah, I'm psychic, or with me being like, oh yeah, like I know things, without like rolling my eyes or like laughing about it, or, it's been a journey. I'm still a little bit working on it. But that's just, that's where we're at right now. What I wanted to show y'all, so I actually just posted this over on my Ko-Fi. So if you go over there, I snagged, nope, that's not, I need to refresh it. There we go. I clipped this from my weekly cosmic forecast email, right? So I send an email every week to my list. There's more in there, but I just clipped like this little bit. So you can get this if you go to my Ko-Fi, or we can just like talk about it right now, right? So if you look at where exactly where exactly Capricorn is in your chart, as I said, like mine's in the 8th house. I mean, you've probably, if you think about it, you can probably like reflect on an area of your life that's been undergoing transformation for a while, right? Like I said, I cannot find the fucking window I'm in. Oh my God. Here we are, found you. Okay. So, right, Pluto started transiting Capricorn back in 2008. So for me, from that point onward has been very much a journey of like, it has been like death and rebirth over and over and over again. I mean, Kara, you were there the other night at the group call for my membership, right, for the Moonlit Mentors and above. And we were talking about like my brand evolutions. And I mean, this stretches all the way back to 2015, 2016. God, some of it was so bad, like so cringe, like the worst. I'm so glad that you were there. I'm so glad that you loved it. Like, that's when I say like I'm willing to be vulnerable in those spaces, and like I'm willing to just like, yeah, like I'm gonna be real with you. Like this is me. Here it is, you know? Um, but yeah, so we went through all of those, and like that was just my business evolutions, you know what I mean? But like if we went back to like 2008, from 2008 to now, I mean, it's normal for people to change or evolve or to grow or whatever. But like, I have lived at least 6 different lives in this transit since Pluto started transiting Capricorn. And so much of it has felt like death and rebirth. Yeah, like I'm like growing and then like growing to a different, it's, yeah, I talk about like the goo, you know what I mean, like the butterfly analogy, right? It's like I have come into that cocoon like over and over and over, and it's been this like this, it's gotten more rapid over time, but it's gotten like more aligned over time, right? Like, oh wow, actually, as I'm reflecting on all this, it's fucking crazy to think about how this transit is like wrapping up for me, right? Because I always think about Pluto in a generational context, right? Like I don't usually think about Pluto, and if you look at like even your transits, like when I create personal transits for people, typically I don't include the outer planets, right? So it's the traditional planets. So it's like the 7 up to Saturn, the visible planets, because the rest of them, you know, they move so slowly. It's just like better to look at it or from my perspective anyway, better to look at it through the context of like the community and the world and current events and how you're fitting in with all of that, right? So rather than overwhelming you with all of that extra information, I try to only like limit personal transits to like what you can have more control over and focus on. But that said, like I would encourage you to just think about like, okay, so if Pluto has been here in Capricorn and the whole energy behind that is like transforming what it means to have power and to have like organizations and empires. This is like why, you know, at the end of Pluto Capricorn transits, like we see like the fall of empires, and whatever. So we can expect the unexpected, I guess. But I think that it's also interesting to consider maybe what house this has been transiting for you and like how this area of your life has been transformed over time. And as I mentioned, you know, when I talk about Pluto, like it's a long transit. So it's like, it doesn't happen overnight. This change is not something that is like even like Saturn transits, you know, things change very rapidly. It's 2-3 years, right? So it can be like where we were, like you can look at like the start of COVID to now, and it's been like, right? So if it's been the 5th for you, it's the house of Leo. So it's fun, friends, flings, right? So it's all about like what sparks joy, like what makes you feel like good and fulfilled and radiant, because that's like what the sun is, right? It's like, it is a self-sustaining like light that like gives everything else life. And so that's where like this would have been transforming for you. So the way that Pluto transits work, it's like I don't want to say they start at like the worst point, but it's like, if you think about it, started in 2008, Pluto transit, right? In Capricorn, that was the recession, right? That was the like the mortgage crisis, right? And the housing bubble, and the government, instead of helping people, chose to bail out banks. And so, right, it's like that's not helpful. That nobody, like, that's not transforming anything. But you have to, the thing about human psychology, which you get, Kara, is that people do not move until they get they're either motivated enough to want the thing that's on the other side, right? Like, which is why I tell you, you've got to have internal and external motivation. Things have to be self-motivated. If you are not self-motivated toward your goal, you can have other motivations, like you want to help people, you want to help your husband, your partner, you want to give your kid a good life, whatever. You can have those reasons, but you also need to have selfish reasons. It also needs to be like, I want full control over my time. I want whatever, right? Because if it's only for other people, only for other things, you're not going to do it. You're going to lose energy, you're going to make up excuses, like whatever. So okay, being motivated towards something is one thing, but most people, that's not how like their psychology works. Most people are not necessarily going to be motivated by the promise of, or the potential promise of something good on the other side. Most people are motivated, which is why marketing, like traditional marketing, instructs you to work like this. Most people are motivated from their discomfort. Right? It's that they've reached a point where they can no longer handle being in the level of discomfort that they're in, and they have to do something else, right? So this is like, oh my God, my house is a mess. I have to fucking do something, right? Like it's gone on long enough, or like whatever. For me, it's like laundry, shit like that, right? And so that is the energy of Pluto, right? Is like it comes into a sign, or it comes into a place, and it begins to highlight and exacerbate like what the pain is, like what is the problem, what needs to be changed, right? Because we're obviously not going to do it if we don't, like, either we're not seeing it or it doesn't hurt bad enough, period. And that's what it is. So with Pluto transiting my 8th house, 2008 was such a fucked up year for me. I was going to college. Oh my God, like I so remember all of this. Oh my God, it's fucking crazy. So I was going to college. I had dropped out of high school. So like I got my GED. I was like, enrolled in school, and I was going to a community college in Oregon. I was living in Central Oregon, like literally like a country. Okay. Like 20,000 people lived in this town. And I was living with a man, right? Or with a boy, okay? Because we were children, basically. 2008, I was like 19, 20, And so we were living together. We had just bought a house, or like we had just moved into a new house. Like he had like inherited from a family member. And we had lived together for over a year. I was going to school and had, in a semester, impressed the person who ran the newspaper enough that she invited me to be the managing editor of the newspaper for the next year. And so with that, I was going to not have to pay for school. Like they were going to take care of all of my school, all my books, I can't even, whatever. And so like 2 weeks before school starts for the next year, he comes home and tells me like he doesn't want to be with me anymore, like whatever. I literally couldn't afford to live there on my own. Like it just was not something that I could do. And the fucked up thing is that the prior 2 semesters, I had gone to school and I had taken out loans because I was fucking 19 and could not pay for this. And I was working like a minimum wage job at fucking Sonic, you know what I mean? Like this is just what I had available to me. And so there was no way I could live on my own. There was no way. I was a country away from anyone I knew, any of my family. So like I had used a lot of my student loan money to like buy stuff for our house. What am I going to do? Pack up fucking a couch and put it on a plane with me? 'Cause I didn't have a license. I had nothing. I was so reliant on other people's material possessions. 8th fucking house. Okay. Over and over. It was like I could not get my shit together. And I just like over and over, well, maybe I'm just like not supposed to. Like maybe I'm just supposed to be like poor or whatever. And then there was actually a point where I was making so much money that I was supporting like everybody in my life, right? And then, just another story for another day, I killed that business. And like transparently have not ever like fully recovered financially from that, right? Like so exotic. Like, I will never financially recover from this. No, that's not true. I definitely will at some point, but just hasn't been yet. And where before I used to make it mean something about me, and I used to feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm worthless, I'm a failure, I have to like I'm not allowed to partner or be with people or be in community with people who have nice things or do nice things. Oh my God. And then there was this one point in time where I was like literally dating a guy whose like family they were billionaires, like with a B, right? Like, I was so uncomfortable. Oh my God. Oh, I was so uncomfortable. It was like one of the worst like periods of my life. And it wasn't that long. It was the summer. Oh my God. I bet everything was retrograde that summer. Whatever. We're not going to go there. And how this whole transit is like closing for me is I'm in a very like happy, committed relationship with someone. We are in a house that we have, are in together. And technically my name is not on it because, and just the same way that it wasn't in Oregon, right? My name wasn't on it. And so I had to leave, right? And that was something that I had to confront when we moved in here. I thought that I was long over that. 2008, that's fucking forever ago. When we moved in here, it was like a good 2 weeks to a month that I just couldn't sleep. I was having panic attacks. I felt so just like, oh my gosh, like I don't deserve this. I'm not allowed. This isn't even mine. I was starting to get a little resentful. Like, this is just going to happen to me all over again, isn't it? Right? And no, it's not. Like, I am not the same person. I have not partnered with anyone even close to how that was. And that's really what the 8th house, I think, lesson has been for me, is the reflection of like, things are things, and like money doesn't make someone better or like doesn't make someone a more valuable person. They simply have more access to more resources than I do at this given moment, and like period, that's it. We're all gonna die. Like, hoarding resources is not what I feel like is the point of things. Again, very 8th house energy. And I feel that it is like I have value. I have so much to give to a relationship. I have so much to give to people that is not based in what I can do for them, or based in my labor, or based in my like physical resources. Like, I, as a human being with thoughts and feelings, have inherent value. And I get to have nice things and be with people who are like meeting me there and respect that. And this has been my lesson, right? It's just like, feels fucking good to get that shit out. 2008, you moved to Indiana, you got married and divorced, left your decade-long career. That very much, because it is none of it, like, it's almost like you've had this like knock, 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 like wake up call, like none of this is making me happy. What is happy, right? Yeah. Like, none of this is fun. Like, I'm tired of this. Yeah. And so now we get to consider what's the next area of our life that's going to see some rearranging, some improvements, right? Because that's what I would like you to embrace these, scary transits, because they're not scary. Like, it's going to happen whether you like it or not, like, just like everything, So just like, you can fight the current, or you can, float on top of it. Like, how would you like to choose to do this? That's like my perspective. So I'm about to get Pluto transiting my 9th house, which is really fucking exciting. I'm so into that. And like, because I just had Saturn go through there. So Saturn's about to go over my 10th house. And then at the 11th, and then the 12th. Y'all, I feel like I've had this vision, I've had this dream of something that I've wanted to create for a long time. And it's been the one like consistent desire that I've had professionally, right? Because it is a professional thing. And it's like I've been able to see bits of it in my mind and hold it. And it's like, again, just like the one thing that even through all of my transitions, all my transformations, it's like the one thing that I'll be like, I want that. And I think that it's coming much sooner than I thought it would, because it's definitely like I could see that being before Saturn enters Gemini, and like probably when Saturn is in Aries would be when it would happen, if not like ramping up for it before then. Because it's very much, it's not that I want a commune, right? That's not, I've done that. It's that I want, what I call it is like burnout detox, right? I've called it a few things over time, but essentially that's what it is it's like a spiritual retreat. It was so funny to see that in, what was that show? 9 Perfect Strangers, right? Because that I was like, oh shit, that's it, right? But like not the scary part. Like I'm not gonna like maybe kill you, but like that's not, you know. Like you can have an ego death with psychedelics like perfectly fine without attempting to set people on fire. So that's sort of the idea, right? Is like I want it to be like, okay, no phones, no no notifications, no, you know, it's like you will take like a weekend or a week or whatever, and it's like literally like a detox rehab, right? Where it's gonna be like super clean food, yoga rooms, garden, therapy, hypnotherapy, massage, you know, just like the whole thing. I'm so stoked on it, right? But I think the entry to that now, because I didn't know that I was going to get yoga certified. I didn't know that I was going to do any of this. Like I thought I was going to be like Lorelai Gilmore, like running an inn, you know? And like I would just hire everyone to do everything else. So I think now like I'll probably be like a little more involved than just like overseeing things. But I think where it starts is with in-person like pop-up like yoga in the park, like a retreat, right, that I host, you know, and we like start experimenting with things in that way before we go like buying property. But what's really also come up lately is, and this is something I've been reflecting on over and over, it's like I've created lots of programs that are specifically for parents or like reparenting oneself, right? So it's like, and usually reparenting will involve you like getting your own parents' charts, right? So like I pulled open my birth mother's chart the other day. Like we got her birth time the other day, so that was fucking cool. My birth mother, right? I said the other day, I said, if you want to love someone, right? If you want to learn how to love someone in a different way, or you want to learn how to like see someone that you don't like or that you have resentment or pain toward in a different way, pull open their birth chart. How my biological mother has I've mentioned this before, she's struggled with substance dependence, you know, for a very long time. It's like the biggest thing of her life. Her Chiron is in Pisces. She's got all this like 12th house energy in fucking Scorpio. It's like, you know, and we don't say like, oh, I'm gonna like, you know, look at your chart and see like if you're prone to, you know, addictions or, you know, different like mental health, you know, kind of stuff. I'm not going to do that. That's just not my vibe. But if I know that someone like she has struggled with substance dependence her entire life, right? Substance abuse. I know that it's not the substances that she is like hiding from, right? It's the Pisces stuff. It's everything under the surface, right? And there's something emotional in there. There's something deep in there that she's just not ready to face, that she doesn't know how to face. And then it's in her 4th house, which of course is the house of home and family and motherhood. When I explain that to my sister, she goes, And I'm like, right? The person that you get so frustrated with and expect them to be perfect. And like, your parents are not perfect. Like, they did the best that they could, hopefully, you know, hopefully. I feel like most people are trying their best. They're trying their best with the information that they have at that given time and the resources that they have. And everyone, like, people are always going to disappoint us, you know? So anyway, so with the reparenting and with the, you know, this theme that comes up over and over in my work, I thought that it would be really great to have like parent kid like yoga place, like a, you know, there's nowhere, I don't know if this is like this where you are, but here we've got gymnastics studios for kids, we have dance studios for kids, we have taekwondo studios for kids, we have no yoga studios for kids. And I think that's crazy. Because it's not like they don't exist. Like, there will be like a yoga class at a dance studio for kids, right? Or like, why is this? I don't know. I'm gonna have to dig in more because I feel like there has to be a better reason for this. Like, it's maybe a liability thing, or I don't fucking know. But I know that I do yoga next to another mom. Like, I see her drop her kids off at my school, like, right? Like, we go to yoga and then we go get our kids and we take them to school. Like, I know that they get the benefits of yoga and they get it. And yeah, kids are so flexible. And I know that like my kid, like they have this like YouTube channel. It's called like Cosmic Kids or like Cosmic Yoga or something, which is fucking crazy. I hadn't like put it together until it just came out of my mouth. But it is like a yoga, like instructional thing for kids. And they have these like after school enrichment classes. Like, I know that there are people who teach yoga to kids. So it's not like, oh, we can't do that, you know? I don't know why this is a thing. But like my boyfriend's sister, she is like super like Virgo, like she gets like money and like organization, and I've never had a product-based business or like a brick and mortar business because transparently it seems scary. Your overhead is so much higher than what I have. Like, my business already costs a fair amount of money, and like just to operate, because I have like different operating costs and different services that I have to pay for and things like that. Like Discord alone, for me to have the roles and everything set up the way that I do so that it's like differentiated in there, it's $50 a month, like just for Discord, right? And that's just one thing. So, you know, all kinds of, oh shit, I'm like literally just remembering I skipped over a question that Monica had the other day. I'm gonna have to answer her. So anyway, my boyfriend's sister, she has worked for HSN for, I don't know, as long as I've known them. And it's like the Home Shopping Network. And she's like the media buyer, right? So she's the one who like finds the stuff, right? And like puts it on there and then like decides what the lineup of everything is going to be. So she like gets like ordering and like finding things, right? Like procurement and all that stuff, which is like not my jam. So what we were talking about is maybe, because yoga studios can't exist on their own. You have to have, like, you can't, just the same way that I cannot operate like feasibly only on selling astrology sessions, Like if I were to only sell astrology sessions, like I would literally never be away from my computer. I would always be in session. It's just not financially sustainable or feasible. So that's why when you go to a yoga studio, they have like memberships and, you know, class passes, and then like a store usually they have like clothes and merch and like yoga stuff, right? Like blocks and whatever, because they order wholesale from other like retailers and then they sell in the store. So that's what we were talking about doing, but like for kids, right? So she would have like baby stuff and like things for kids, right? And then we would have the studio as well. And then at the studio, it's like, I could also see there being like during the day, you know, when like kids are in school, we've got like littles and like mommy meetups and like, you know, stay-at-home parent meetups and like daddy brunches and things like that. And just like different ways for people to like get their kids together and like get into the community. And we could do like sound bowls, and we could do, you know, flows and different pop-up workshops and all kinds of stuff. Like I'm just like buzzing. I've got so many ideas. I'm so excited about it. And like with Saturn going to be transiting my 10th house and then going over my 11th and 12th soon, it's like that feels very much like we're doing it. Like we're getting the community together. Like we're just like, especially when Saturn transits Aries, because it's like my 11th house, Mars is there for me. Like I'm like, let's fucking go, right? Like let's go. And so, you know, I think that that'll be like a rally year for me. Yeah. So let's actually, I meant to do this. So let's come and talk about just very quickly some of the other things that are going to be going on over the course of the next week, because we've got so much going on. And of course I'm going to be back, you know, on Monday, and we'll talk more about it. But we've got Mercury coming in a conjunction with Pluto today. Look at the house again, right? Look at the house where Capricorn is for you. So for my biological mom, this has been over her second house. So it has, it's been like an opposites thing for us. So she's been going over her like her personal value, like her personal like material world, where mine has been this like other people's stuff and like how I fit into it and like the ebb and flow of everything, right? Because it's like money talks, wealth whispers. This is about me. This is about us, you know, that kind of thing. So then tomorrow we have Mercury moving into Aquarius. Listen, I love this happening right after we've got a Mercury-Pluto conjunction, because there's going to be some shift, some aha moment that comes today. And it's like, oh my gosh, like this is the information that I needed. Like this was the breakthrough moment that I needed. But a transformation, like just the same way that I don't necessarily believe in like, you don't make your action plan on the new moon, you know, you set your intention, you hold the vision, you know, you start to clarify, right? And then as things clarify, as you know, notice what's different, you start to respond to your environment and do things differently. And that's where the new like space opens up. So with that said, Mercury moving into Aquarius the day after we have this aha moment is just phenomenal, because this is my natal Mercury sign. I don't mean to be that guy, but I seriously feel like Mercury, like Aquarius is the best place for Mercury to be. Because Mercury is curious and curious and right, wants information and wants to communicate things. And so with it being in Aquarius, it's like thinking about the community, thinking about things in a big picture, thinking about like 20 years into the future, right? Thinking about like, okay, well, how is what I'm doing now, how's what I'm like going to impact what happens next? I think this is partly what makes me such a great strategist, right? And so with that said, this is a phenomenal time for you to be like thinking outside of the box. Like if this problem or whatever has been too hard, or you've been working really hard to solve it and it's just like not something that's been working, or like I put here, like you have like shelved it because you're like, okay, I will just come back to this fucking thing later. Like this is just too much. this might be a good time to dust it off and try to take a look at things from a different perspective. And then again, you may also just like, if you want to take the next level, if you're in my membership, you know, great, because you can just go straight into your Ko-Fi, like it'll open up and you'll see more posts and you'll get like the whole month broken down by your rising sign. So this would obviously tell you, you know, what house this is for you. And I keep like, this is her chart. I need to pull open mine because I'm like losing it. Right. So like I've been talking about this transiting my 8th house, you know, that's obviously not the case for everyone. We've got Kara here. It's been transiting her 5th. And so it'll tell you in my breakdown by rising sign, you know, not just like what house this is affecting for you, but like how that actually like impacts you and like what you might more quickly exact, right? So I mentioned we've got 3 huge conjunctions. Like I've got 4 points here and 3 of them are major conjunctions. So buckle fucking up. Wednesday, which is the 15th. So this is the day after Valentine's Day, right? So we've got Venus and Neptune at a conjunction in Pisces. So this is like very romantic. This is very dreamy. This is very, I don't know, it just says to me like, let's go elope, right? Like that's just like what it screams to me. It's just like, let's go like shout it from the rooftops. And the moon is in Sagittarius. So this could go one of 2 ways, right? And this is what I said here. You're literally either gonna like shout it from the rooftops, like, I love this, like, I love you, oh my gosh, right? Just like ready to express. Or you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, like the rose colored glasses have like slid down my nose and I'm seeing everything for what it is. And like, oh my God, I have got to get fucking out of this. I've got to get out of here. So, keep your eyes open for that. It'll go one of 2 ways. And again, just like it would be a good idea for you to look at where this is going to be happening in your chart. So for me, this is my 10th house. So this may be like visibility. This may be career oriented. This may be like networking oriented. We'll see how that goes when I get there. What's happening on Wednesday the 15th? Am I like scheduled for anything already? I'm gonna like just literally pull it up. Oh, me and Kara have a session on Wednesday the 15th. No, I mean, it's a lot of work that day, like, to be fair. Like, I do have, like, back-to-back stuff that day, but it looks like a nice day. And maybe that's what it is I'm going to be, like, yeah, shouting it from the rooftops, like, holy shit, I am so glad that I did this. Like, I'm so glad that I made this shift and that I'm not only talking about business strategy anymore because I just, like, can't do it. There needs to be more for me. Business strategy is great. I love talking about business. I feel like I've already talked about it like at least for 20 minutes of this like live today. So obviously I'm like still very much here for it. Mama Capricorn will never not be here to talk about business and branding. But so much of what I end up helping people with is that underlying, right, like confidence and direction and like grounding themselves and actually evaluating, wait, was it business or was it something else that needed to be like addressed, you know? And so then after that, we are going to have the sun coming into conjunction with Saturn. Okay, so I wrote this here. If you're one of those people who needs the universe to send a flashing neon sign before you take the hint that it's time to move, Thursday will be the day that flashing sign will be there for you, because the sun moving into conjunction with Saturn, it is like all of the lights are coming on, like, no, roll up your sleeves. It's time to get to fucking work. Okay. And I would just highly encourage you to float with it, right? Ride that wave, to like seize the moment and to just let it happen, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen either way. And it'll be so much easier if you give yourself the time, space, permission, and energy to start this like unraveling process now, because next month we've got Saturn moving into Pisces, Same week, we've got Pluto moving into Aquarius. Like literally, we could not have bigger things going on. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, let's not, like, I don't, we could have bigger things going on because we also have Venus, Jupiter, and Chiron coming in a conjunction in Aries. That's like literally all happening in the same week, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll pop open. Oh, I already have. Okay. Pop this open real quick. Okay, so again, this is from my 2023 digital Astro planner. If you are in my membership, right, whether you're at the $11 level or whether you are at the $99 level, you get every month that month's transits and everything delivered to you. Now, if you want the whole planner all at once, you can totally do that, and you can get it at the shop at my Ko-Fi. So when you come in here, right, you've got, this is, right, Mercury going to be entering Pisces. So this is so fast. I always get so sad. I feel like the signs, like the things that I really enjoy, like Mercury being in Aquarius, like these things just happen so fast. Like, why can't, I don't know, whatever. So it's a 3-week transit that we've got this. It's boom, 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 super fast. Venus enters Aries. Okay. Then, okay, as I mentioned, so Saturn enters Pisces, same day that we've got a full moon in Virgo. So we've got the full moon opposing Saturn, okay? And then, right, that's 2 weeks before, roughly 2 weeks before, we've got new moon in Aries, same week that we have Pluto entering Aquarius, okay? And then we've got this Jupiter conjunct Chiron in Aries, and to be fair, like Venus will be like right there too. So it's Jupiter conjunct Chiron and also Venus. So with all of that to say, this is a month of fucking change. Big things are happening. Big time. Venus enters Taurus. Sun enters Aries. Pluto enters Aquarius. I don't want to talk about this. I want to evaluate it a little bit more, and then I'll talk about it. But that's what we've got going on for the week, for this weekend, right? This is going to be a lot. Think big. Let yourself think big, dream big, especially over the next week or so. Don't try to make sense of it right now. Don't try to, is this possible? Is this possible? Are you possible? Like, this is ridiculous that we're even here right now. Possible. We fly in airplanes. What? Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. Imagine, like, just for a second, just for like one hot second. We're at the last Pluto leaving Capricorn moment. Okay, so this is the end. This is late 1700s. Can you imagine someone like flying a plane like over, like just a normal like jet, just a jet plane over fucking France or over like, oh my God, they would think it's an alien. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, what's possible? Don't worry about it. I think actually sometimes about my dad, because, you know, he died. He was like such a computer nerd. Like everything I know about, you know, I guess part of the reason I'm so comfortable with technology and with computers and things like that is because like he grew me up on them. You know, I like built a computer from the inside out with him when I was 5, and it was just like, that's what we did. Like, that's what we did for fun. And I get so bummed out when I think about the fact that he like died before technology got very cool. Because like, I don't even know what he would do with like ChatGPT. Like, I don't even know what he would do with like any of this. Like, he would be losing his ever-loving shit. If he were like alive right now and like he had, you know, like Snake on his fucking Nokia phone. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, he was a very technologically inclined person, so maybe he would have been open to like what's possible. But this is like, right, older people, like, they don't get it. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about what they think is possible. Don't try to get their opinion on it. They don't know. Okay? It's okay. Don't try to figure it out. We got Mars. I haven't drawn a card for us in a second. So we got Mars today. Mars is giving you some courage this weekend. Go, do, put yourself out there. Be a warrior. Be a warrior for yourself. Okay? You're amazing. I love you so much. What a great week here for some Astro Chat and Chill. And I will see you on Monday morning, 9 a.m. Astro Chat and Chill. If you want to, talk about what's going on, come over to my Discord. The link is on my profile. And I will see you Monday. Bye, friends.